There are some things that you just expect from friends, from relatives, from people that you are close to, people that you trust and you have a good relationship with. But narcissist, okay, they're the exception. Covert narcissist, you should never, never expect these things from the narcissist. Now, here's the problem. When you're dealing with a covert narcissist, the covert narcissist is, well, they're covert. You don't know they're narcissists because they're really good at faking, pretending to be somebody they are not. You think they are one of your friends, and maybe they're one of your relatives. So you trust this person eminently, and you're expecting these things, but they don't deliver. And by the way, these things also, I should say, are good signs that you're actually dealing with someone who has either a narcissist or somebody with narcissistic traits, or maybe somebody who is controlling, or maybe they're just ungrateful. I don't know. Now, you may be asking, okay, what are these things? And I'm glad you asked because I'm going to tell you. We've got 6 of them all together, and the first thing that you should never expect from your covert narcissist is loyalty. Now, years ago, I was a pastor of a church. I did that for 12 years or so. And there were some people in our church who were very loyal. There were some people in our church that were just innately disloyal. It's kind of like they were grandiose narcissists. Very disloyal. They would fight about anything and everything. It didn't matter what I would say or do. It was wrong unless I didn't say it and didn't do it. Then I was wrong not to say something when I should have, or not to do something when I should have. But there were these people in the church, and fortunately for me, they made up a majority. Not a big majority, but a majority. And these were loyal people. Now, the covert narcissist sitting back watching this, and they see, the way to get to Ken, which is what they called me, because that's my name. They call me Ken. So the narcissist would say to himself, I'm mind reading this guy. Now I'm watching these people are currying the favor of Ken because they are loyal, and he is loyal back to them. So we had this symbiotic type thing going on where we worked together very well. So the narcissist said to himself, and again I'm mind reading, but he's saying to himself or herself, yeah, I can exploit that. So I'm going to feign or fake being loyal to the pastor. Well, they called me Ken. So I'm going to feign being loyal to Ken so I can manipulate him. Never count on a narcissist to be loyal. But again, if it's a covert narcissist, don't expect that. But if it's a covert narcissist, how would you know? Well, you wouldn't know. Well, you're going to find out eventually, but then it's going to be too late. The second thing you should never expect from a narcissist is reciprocation. A few exceptions, but let's say that you're in the love bombing stage. You don't know this guy's a narcissist, and he does you favors. I don't like to use that word favors. I don't know why. Maybe because I use it too much, but he does nice things for you. Does you favors. You need a little bit of help here, and so he helps you out. He volunteers. Maybe you need your car worked on. But again, maybe not. I've never had a narcissist volunteer to work on my car. I think they're too lazy, but something like that. They're going to do you a favor. And they expect you to reciprocate, to pay them back. All right, so you say, okay, we got this relationship going on. We understand each other. You may not think that overtly, but the thought is in the back of your mind, and so you start doing him favors, and then you notice, or her, and then you notice, they're not so good at paying back favors, of reciprocating. So don't expect a narcissist to reciprocate. Now, if you do something that the narcissist deems to be offensive, okay, then you can expect reciprocation in buckets full. Number 3 is never expect a narcissist, a covert narcissist, to deliver on promises. Now, promises from a narcissist, or from anybody for that matter, often are just implied. Sometimes they're implicit, sometimes they're explicit. For example, when I married my wife, 100 years ago, whatever it was, we stood at an altar and we explicitly repeated vows to each other, till death do us part. That's a promise. We weren't faking it. We meant it. Here we are. All these decades later, still happily married 99.9% of the time. So, yeah, we stuck it out. If you ever marry a narcissist, they're lying. Yeah, when they say till death do us part, no, they're not. So, that's a bad situation to get in, but let's don't talk about marriage. Let's talk about friendships, or maybe just a love romance or whatever. They will sometimes make overt, explicit promises to you, but typically they're not explicit, they're implicit. They just imply them. You're hanging out with this person, your love interest, got a romance going on, and he or she leads you on to think that this is going to result in marriage. Big deal. Going to have family, going to have kids, going to have a white picket fence. If you live in a house, I don't know. I don't even know anyone who has a white picket fence, but that's, the image. So they never actually say it, though. You just kind of assume that's going to happen. And maybe they're very real about that. Maybe they're very genuine, but if it's a covert narcissist, no, they're not. They're giving you this by implication, or it could be a business thing. You work with me, I'll work with you. We're going to have this business deal together and get to the end of it, and they keep all the proceeds. That is called future faking. Yeah, there's actually a term for that. And narcissists notoriously are very good at not delivering on promises. Good at making promises, but they're not very good at keeping promises. I don't know how many times I've loaned money to a narcissist, and explicitly they say, yeah, I'll repay it. Well, if you say it's a loan, that implies, that's implicit, but it implies you're going to get paid back, because they're not asking for a gift, they're asking for a loan. I can't remember ever loaning money to a narcissist that got paid back. Never. And I've done it so many times, it's embarrassing. It's kind of like I got catfished, only it wasn't a romance thing, it was a friendship thing. Felt sorry for the guy. He's going through some tough times. Yeah, I'll loan you $100. He worked it up to like $2,000. Stupid me. But don't expect them to deliver on promises. They're not going to do it. Number 4, at least in my experience, number 4 is don't expect confidentiality. So, okay, this is the covert narcissist. You don't know they're narcissists because they're covert, and you tell them something in absolute positive confidence. You cannot tell anybody this, but because you're my good dear friend, or maybe this is your romantic partner or whatever, because we're so close, I'm going to share with you, but you got to keep it quiet. You may as well go ahead and tell the whole world, because they are, same thing. You tell a narcissist anything, and you may as well tell the whole planet. Now, I've made that kind of a life principle for myself. That is, if you tell one person, this is what I say to me. If you tell one person, you may as well tell the world. Because sometimes that one person, not necessarily a narcissist, but anybody, they'll just tell one person in confidence, just like you did. And that one person in confidence will tell one person. And that one person will tell one person. And eventually that one person is going to be a blabbermouth, and the whole world gets it. And you go back to the person that you said initially, I thought I said, keep this in confidence. I said, well, I just told the one person in confidence. The whole world knows. All right, so confidentiality, that's one thing you cannot entrust to a narcissist. Well, sometimes that would apply to just about anybody, but don't expect it. Particularly from a narcissist, covert narcissist, grandiose narcissist, any of them. Number 5 is do not expect genuine change. When I was a kid, we had Christmas tree at Christmas time, and Dad would put this little electric train toy set thing, under the tree, and it would go round, around, around in circles. And you didn't expect it to change. You didn't expect it to get off track and run around through the house. You just knew what it was going to do. Like a narcissist, they have the cycle, love bombing, abuse, and discard. They just go through the cycle over and over and over again. Now, in a sense, you can say, well, they change because right now the train is here, and in a second, it's over there. So, okay, it changes on the track. That's how the narcissist does. He or she will change on the track, but they never get off the track, usually. I've never known one to get off the track. They're true blue narcissists. So they are hardwired to be narcissist. And if you think you're going to improve these people, we talked about like getting married or whatever. You think you're going to change them? Good luck with that. They're probably going to get worse after you get married. No, if you're going to change them before you get married, and then you find out they're not going to change. But they don't change. There are some exceptions. Say, for example, there's a severe accident and the narcissist has brain injury. Okay, then it can change. I don't recommend doing that, but there was a point in time when a lobotomy was a common practice to alter people's behavior. And you could actually change the behavior of a narcissist by a surgeon going in and separating lobes of his brain. I don't think they do that anymore. I actually looked it up before I did this presentation when I was working on my notes. And yeah, it's still legal. But it is so repulsive that I don't know of any surgeon anywhere that does it, but they probably still do somewhere. But there is another thing, and pardon me if another surgical procedure, that I will probably butcher the pronunciation of this, but I think it is cingulotomy. And it's akin to a lobotomy, only it's much less severe. It's where they go in surgically and they will alter a tiny part of the patient's brain to alter behavior or whatever they're trying to do. So the point is, yeah, you can change a narcissist, but it's going to take brain injury, good or bad, brain altercation to get it done. I don't recommend that unless you're a surgeon and you know what you're doing. But as lay people, no, don't injure his brain. Yeah, I fixed him. They're going to fix you. They're going to put you in prison for doing that. So don't do that. But the point is, yeah, they can change, but you're not going to change their behavior by trying to maneuver them. Number 6, assume responsibility. That is to say, do not expect the narcissist to assume responsibility or accountability for what he or she does when it's wrong, which it typically always is. No, it's not their fault. They can explain it. They have a big explanation for it, good explanation for it. They can justify just about anything. You know, we talked about this in an earlier video, but they steal from you. No, you gave it to them. They steal from you. No, just a loan. They steal from you. They're going to pay it back. You know, they always have an excuse, so they never assume responsibility. Now, if you do something that is good, you do something that is right, guess what? Okay, now they're going to accept responsibility. Now they're going to assume accountability. Yeah, they did that. If it hadn't been for them, you never would have done it. Aren't you fortunate to have them in your life? Okay, let's keep talking if you want to. There are 2 rectangles on the screen. We can keep the conversation going for as long as you want because we got a zillion videos, but click one of those 2 rectangles and the conversation, it'll continue. But if not, thanks for stopping by and see y'all next time.